All right, Ben, I still got you muted, but all right, guys, thanks for joining us for this fireside chat. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty. I'm having a hard time. I still got you muted, but all right, guys, thanks for. Gotta mute that. Anyway, I'm having a hard time bringing Ben's camera in, so give me just a second, Ben. I'm gonna hang up on you and call you back. So while I'm doing this, I'm gonna try to talk. Basically, the topic for tonight, as you have seen, hopefully, was talking about what keeping traditions alive means for the guys here at Middle American Outdoors. And to start here, you're going to have Ben and I, and then we are going to be bringing in a special guest who Ben will be introducing. His name, I believe, is pronounced Kadden, and his father, Dewayne, from Missouri, will be coming on to discuss what the tradition means to them and some stuff that's happened recently that's really cool. And here we go. I'm going to be able to pull Ben on now. But as always, you guys are more than welcome to chime in. As you can see in the background here on, let me move it. Now you can see on the background here, I do have the split screen lives up back here with the Facebook Live on our community chat group, and then also the YouTube page live. So now I think we've got her working. Every time there's something different that malfunctions here, but now we've got Ben on, and Ben, you are now unmuted, so you can speak.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
So, just kick it off, a little bit of small talk. Basically, what's been going on for you this last week, Ben?
Oh, season finally opened for us on Thursday. Carter and I got to go out Thursday evening, and he got his. That was my first time videoing a hunt. Carter's first time doing a spot and stock, and I'm not going to do too much of a spoiler here, but Carter got his first shot at a deer, and I'm going to leave it at that. But it was a lot of fun, super exciting. Carter had a blast. And then Carly and I got to go out on a hunt this afternoon, and it was short lived, but we got to see some deer, and I think we was only to stand maybe 45 minutes to an hour, but when you're taking them little ones, they gotta go to the bathroom. It's time to go home. So. But we had a good time.
Yeah, I was lucky enough. I've watched a few clips of that spot and stock, and I actually uh, randomly picked the right clip to get a watch shot fired. It's gonna be cool. I look forward to editing that. Hopefully, we'll be getting that put together in a presentable way in the next week or two, at least. It'll be up on our YouTube page. If you guys aren't subscribed, we definitely would appreciate if you subscribe and like the videos and continue to help us grow. But with that video, I mean, there's going to be a little bit of difficulty because you had some difficulties with your camera, huh?
Yeah, the microphone jack on the camera isn't working. I don't think so.
So we're trying to.
Well, I'm not sure how we'll. The picture says 1,000 words on it.
Yeah.
But there's a couple little clips in there that are kind of fun. And it was just a fun hunt, man. Super fun. And unfortunately, we don't have any audio on it, but we'll maybe do some voiceover or something on it.
Yeah, for anybody that's like a YouTube junkie, if you've seen any of the Bomar breakdowns with Josh Bomar, I think we're probably going to mimic that a little bit to make this happen, as far as maybe have Ben and Carter sit down and discuss, recall the story, and then we'll throw in clips to, verify what they're saying or show it.
We'll figure it out.
But definitely seeing the look on Carter's face right afterward is pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely a lot to learn. I would say we all both have a lot. We all have a lot to learn. That's the point of what we're doing. But
Right.
I think,
I tell you what. I tell you what. It was definitely top 10 favorite hunts ever. It was awesome.
yeah,
He was shaking for an hour afterwards. He was blaming it on being cold, but it wasn't cold at all.
yeah, buck
It was pretty.
fever. So yeah, for me, this week has been pretty average, I would say. And we got out, or I got out. I don't know why I say we, but I got out this weekend on Friday morning. I took a CME course, and I figured I might as well just put my AirPods on and listen from the tree. So we got out there bright and early that morning, and I see we've got somebody joining us now. Hi, Carly.
Say hi. She's more shy than Carter. Say hi. Say hi.
Yeah, but she ran to be on camera. But I got out Friday morning, and just more heartbreak, I would say, and that was a pretty big heartbreak Friday morning. You'll see the video later, but managed to regroup and get myself back out Saturday evening, and just another interesting experience, I guess. And we'll get that produced so you can see it. And I think I'm probably taking the next 2-3 weeks off from bow hunting. For me personally, when I get to that point where I'm starting to feel frustrated by it, I just take time away, especially knowing that we're going into the October lull anyway. If I'm not fired up to be out there, I don't want to be beating my head against the wall at that time of year. I'll take a few weeks off, get the rifles ready for chasing the mule deer in December, and just get my head back in it, ready for the rut, I think. But the big one for this week, like we said, we were talking about. Well, I'll jump out real quick. I'll just say, for you guys leaving comments, Kevin B, Positive Outdoors Outreach, we see you guys. We thank you for participating. Feel free to leave any comments as we go through and discuss the topics. Topic today is basically what keeping traditions alive means to us and to y'all. If you're not familiar with Middle American Outdoors, our mantra, theme, slogan, motto, whatever you want to call it, is keeping traditions alive. And we basically build our platform and all of our content geared toward that purpose, whether it's bringing people into hunting, helping people understand hunting, helping people learn to hunt, or any outdoors activity. I'll always say hunting because that's 98% of what I do is bow hunt deer. I know Ben does a lot of other outdoor stuff at this point, but anyway, so that's kind of our topic for tonight. And the main thing we wanted to do was bring on a young man and his father from Missouri. And this is a pretty cool story that I'll go ahead and Ben and let you introduce them. I'll start trying to get them on to the phone here.
Okay, yeah. So I run across a post from Dewayne. That's the young man's father that he posted. It wasn't anything, he wasn't looking for attention. Just kind of a cool story. Kind of wanted to share with some of his friends. And so it really hit home with me as far as what we're trying to do here. And we posted with their permission, I shared the picture and their story on our page, and it really just took off. And I would say it somewhat went viral, and it kind of inspired us to do what we're calling the tip of the cap. And so we'll bring in Dewayne, that's Caden's father, and the young man Kadden. He's the one that did the good deed for the gentleman. But I'm not going to tell too much of their story. I don't want to steal their thunder. But so without further ado, let's bring in Dewayne and Kadden.
Can you see me, Matt?
No, we don't have him yet.
We can hear him. We just can't see him quite yet. Just takes a minute. There's usually like a little camera button on the bottom of your screen. There you are, buddy.
There they are. Hey, fellas.
How's it going, guys?
Good. So this is Dewayne and Kadden. Dewayne, first of all, I want to thank you guys for coming on here tonight. I just thought it was just a way cool story that you guys have posted, and kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, Kadden. What grade are you in right now?
I'm in 8th grade.
8th grader. So you're what, 14? Is that right?
He's 13.
13. Okay. So are you a big time hunter?
When it comes to bow season, I love to be out in the woods anytime I possibly get a chance.
Right.
He's been hunting with me since about 8 years old now.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I got my little Carly here with me. She's almost 7. We're getting her into. I've got 9 kids myself, so I know what it's like getting kids out, and I just think it's awesome. So tell us a little bit about how your hunt went that day. Was it a little over almost 2 weeks ago, I guess?
It started out to be a basic evening hunt here in Missouri. They was calling for a lot of thunderstorms. We had real high temperatures. I think it was about 80 degrees middle of the day. We had a thunderstorm coming in that evening in our area. So we tried to get out there as soon as we can. Got caught in a little bit of rain before it passed, and we went out to the woods. We was probably 2 miles back and started to get overran by deer. And they was all anywhere from 60, 80 yards out. And I had one pretty good sized doe come in about 30 yards. I drew my bow back, my compound bow, and it stopped behind a tree. I went to release, wait for that perfect shot, or I wouldn't stand there holding the whole time. Next thing I know, my cable and string came off my cams.
So at that point, your hunt was pretty well over then.
It was, and my hunt was over. I was, a grown baby. I had a deer 20 yards. Arrow was laying 2 foot in front of me. The string was done. Perfect broadside shot. Couldn't shoot. I was, ready to throw a tantrum. And we heard thunder. I told him, I said, well, we're done. I said, let's go ahead and head back to the truck. I said, if anything else, we'll grab the crossbow out of the truck and we'll come back. I said, we'll try it again. We probably got 200 yards across the street, and there's this gentleman just harvested a deer with his bow and short of breath, from walking. He's filthy shit. And we asked him, hey, you need a hand? Just being sportsman. He's like, well, if you don't mind. And then, Caden's like, well, I'll drag it out for you. Everybody's seen the pictures as a small deer.
Right. Now that when we posted that, it was kind of twofold on why I did. One of the reasons was it was a smaller deer. Now, I was pleasantly surprised with how people reacted to it. Right off the get-go, there were some negative comments, but people were really quick to kind of put them in their place. Can you maybe tell us a little bit why you think it was a smaller deer?
I'm thinking because the gentleman just tries to get enough meat to eat on to survive.
Right. And how old was that guy?
He was 94 years old.
Right. So kind of the way I seen it was, he's a 94-year-old man that was out there hunting by himself. He had no idea you guys were coming along.
No.
So, he took a deer that he knew he could manage ethically and get as much of that, and get the entire deer out of the woods. Had you guys not come along, there's no way he could have managed a mature deer. And now, and that deer was you know, it was a younger deer, but it was legal. It was, you know, he obviously made an ethical shot on it. And, you know, and you guys just happened along to help him out. And I just, you know, I commend you for raising such a fine young man, and, you know, high fives to Kadden for helping him out. And you know, gosh knows at that age, we all only hope we can still get out there and hunt.
I'm hoping I'm able to get out there at that age.
Right. You ain't kidding. You know, so I just thought that was such a cool story. And are you old enough to hunt yet, Kadden?
Yeah, I'm able to.
Are you?
Yeah, he's been through hunter education course, and he's been actually out there hunting with me for 4 or 5 years now. And every summer it's like, Dad, is it deer season yet? Is it deer season yet? Can we go deer hunting yet?
Oh, absolutely. I love it. And I seen you guys have shared a couple more pictures, you know, getting back out to this week. So it sounds like you got your bow fixed and you're back out there. You know, love to see it. And again, Kadden, I commend you on helping that gentleman out. I'm sure it was very much appreciated. You know, for, you know, show our appreciation, I sent you guys out a little care package here. It'll be going out on Monday. But on another note, you know, we kind of our tip of the cap to you, and you kind of inspired us to do this. I think, you know, we're going to try to do it every week, if possible, if not every other week. And we're gonna call it Kadden's tip of the hat, or tip of the cap with a K. So we're gonna try to bring you on as often as you can. If you're out hunting, by golly, you can't make it, that's fine. But we'll try to bring you on when we've got somebody to acknowledge and kind of send our appreciation to. We've got somebody picked out for next week, but if you run across somebody you think deserving, well, by golly, let us know, and we'll try to bring them on here and kind of give them the, you know, the internet high five and thank them for their efforts. Careful, Carly. So that's pretty much all we got for tonight from you guys. Again, thank you for coming on here, and look forward to talking with you some more. And high five, Kadden.
Yeah, thanks for having us on here. We greatly appreciate it. So,
all right, good luck for the rest of your season.
Thank you. You all too.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Well, I think I just hung up on Ben as well, so just give me a second to get Ben back. Pretty cool there to get to talk to Dewayne and Kadden, and hear their side of the story, kind of what was going on. For people that weren't familiar, let me see if I can show you on my screen here. If you haven't been on our Facebook quote unquote business page, to be able to see that post that Ben was talking about. Wow. There it is. There it is. Finally, I can show you.
All right.
So here's the Facebook post that Ben made about going on a week and a half ago, right? And, you know, on our small little page here, you've got over 1,000 people reacting, liking, loving the picture, etc. 165 comments here. And it's not showing you on this view, but on this view here, you can see almost 130,000 people reached and saw that picture. So just a really cool aspect of what we're trying to do, or hoping to do more of, through our social media pages, our Facebook page primarily, so that you can see, you know, we're not just trying to show off our hunting, etc., but really trying to show that effort as far as putting effort into keeping traditions alive. and acknowledging when we see stuff like Caden's story, and pick that up, not only to lift that kid up, but try to, as Ben said, like educate the people that were putting him down, not call them out and make them feel bad or call them names, but give them a chance to maybe be educated a little bit better as to the story and how those words impact a kid for the positive or the negative, and just the impact that that has in the long run on the traditions of our outdoors traditions. Um, but let's see if we can bring Ben back on the screen. If I can get off of my screen. There's me, and there's Ben. All right, it's working. So as I've left comments on the YouTube page, anybody that's watching that wants to chime in, let us know what keeping traditions alive means to you, or anything about the Kadden and Dewayne story, any similar stories that you have like that. Go ahead and share it, and I'll share it on the live here. But the third component then of tonight was the Middle American Outdoors guys talking about what keeping traditions alive means to us, and specifically how we intend to continue to pursue that effort here at Middle American Outdoors. As you can see, Ben and I are here. Jake is in a tree stand in Kansas, so we're not going to hold it against him. I don't know if he will be joining us here in a little bit or not, but
hopefully he's trailing a deer.
yeah, hopefully I haven't heard from him, so he's either walking out or doing as you said. But I guess we'll kick to you, Ben. So you came on recently, but you'd been pretty interested in Middle American Outdoors for a while now, and now you've taken a really active role, and even helped channel this arm of what we're doing at Middle American Outdoors. So what does it mean to you? How do you think we do it here?
Well, for me personally, a lot of it has to do with the youth. I don't know if I've ever said it on here, but I've got 9 kids, and I grew up in a large family, and I was fortunate enough that my father took a huge interest in me and my brothers and everybody else's kids getting out into the outdoors. He was a scoutmaster, hunting and fishing, camping, and it was not abnormal for us to drag along another kid that maybe come from a single parent home, or their parents didn't hunt or fish or camp, and I know it had a huge positive impact on those people's lives. To this day, kids my age, or guys my age and younger, just really look up to my dad for getting us all out there. And so I've seen the impact that can have on a young person's life, especially coming from a single parent home or something like that. And my children are very fortunate enough that in our family we use the outdoors, and it just has such a positive impact on people's lives as far as knowing how to take care of yourself in any situation. The mental aspect of it for therapeutic reasons, and I've also used the outdoors with with helping with veterans and stuff. And that's another huge thing that I'm involved in, with veteran nonprofit organizations. So if we're not making moves to get more people out there to use the outdoors, no matter what the avenue, whether it be hunting, fishing, camping, hiking, anything like that, we're going to lose it, because we are the only ones that are going to stand there and say, hey, this needs attention. This needs to be taken care of. This needs to be managed. There's groups out there that they're going to do anything they can to not necessarily take it away from us, but limit our access to it. So if we're not going to do it, who's going to? So that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's getting the youth out's a huge part of it for me, just because I know what it can do for a kid.
Truth. So take it a step further then. How like we want to do it. We both understand it's important. You've voiced why it's important. So how do the people that are listening to this that have that same interest, maybe don't have Middle American Outdoors platform or whatever, they don't think that they have a platform, how would you encourage them to take that next step to being active?
There's countless ways to do it, and it doesn't take much. It doesn't take hardly any effort at all. If you're a fisherman, reach out to like Boy Scouts. That's a great one. Girl Scouts. Um, a lot of schools have what they call teammates here in Iowa, especially. I'm not sure what the other states do, but reach out to your local school, see if they have a mentoring program. There's thousands of kids out there that come from a single parent home, and like I said, it doesn't take much effort on your part to be that person for somebody. Um, let's just say here in Iowa they have what's called teammates, and you stop into the school, tell them you want to be a part of it, and they'll hook you up with a kid that has similar interest to you, and you're going fishing anyway, or you're going hunting anyway. Take them with you, and it's like today, Carly and I went hunting, and we was only out there for 45 minutes, but we had a blast. Those little things like that is going to make such a huge impact on these kids that you might not see it right away, but years down the road, those kids are going to remember those moments forever. The young men and that my father helped out with, to this day, they still consider him a father. They come from single parent homes where they didn't have that dad to take them out hunting or fishing or camping. And, there's so many kids that just really look up to him for that. And it wasn't a huge effort on his part. It's something we were doing anyway. That's just one simple way of doing it. Let's take it a step further, get onto the social media pages, you know, especially if you're, let's say you're going fishing and, you know, just reach out there and say, hey, is there any kids out there that, that would like to go fishing with me? You take them out there. There's groups that you can help out with, like Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. They do trips and stuff all the time where, they need somebody to help them out, because usually it's one or two parents in the whole troop that are active and putting forth the effort. Reach out to them, help them out, go on a camping trip with them for a weekend, and take a few kids out fishing. Another thing you can do is something I've done for a long time is all your old equipment that's it's still usable but you've upgraded or something like that. Get out there on the social media pages, reach out to us. Hey, I've got this old bow. We just gave away 3 bows that are going to 3 kids. They should be getting those anytime. That's going to change those kids' lives. Give them the opportunity to go out and use them. There's just a million different ways of doing it. I could go on all night about it.
Yeah, I am browsing my browser in the background here. In Nebraska, I know in the last few years there's been, through the Nebraska Game and Parks, a big effort. I recall a take 'em fishing effort where you took somebody fishing and you sent in a picture, and I think you were entered into a grand prize for maybe winning a Polaris or something along those lines. So the bigger outdoors organizations recognize the importance of it for sure. There's also in Nebraska the R3 Summit, which I wish I could remember all of the R's. It's another Nebraska Game and Parks mission or organization, and it's about recruitment, retention, and the third R, but that same, same philosophy or same thought process of kind of what we got going on at Middle American Outdoors with the keeping traditions alive. So there's definitely, I mean, I can speak to Nebraska because I'm in Nebraska, and so I pay attention to what's going on in Nebraska. But in your area, wherever you're listening in the country, if you know of something in your area, feel free to post it on our Middle American Outdoors page so people can see it, and we'll make sure to share it so people know where to contact. So it's not just if, the next thing to think about, Ben, would be, so let's say that you are that kid whose family's not in the outdoors and you want to be, where should that kid be looking if he wants to be active in getting himself involved?
Well, like you said, the game of parks, I think pretty much every state has some sort of program like that. Um, there's reach out to us and we'll help you find something. Um, we'll do our best at it. Uh, a lot of states have outdoor expos. If you're interested in the outdoors, try to talk your parents into taking you to one of those. There's a lot of people there that a lot of different businesses, organizations that set up at these expos. Matter of fact, we're going to one in January in Lincoln, Nebraska. So there's a wealth of information and a multitude of people that would be willing to help you out and point you in the right direction. Um, get on social media and get on some of these pages. I know Kadden, when we shared that picture, a few of the pages that we put it on, there was people lining up to say, hey, if you're ever out in our area, I got a tree stand waiting for you. So get on them social medias. Facebook especially is a good one. If you're into deer hunting, find a few deer hunting pages in your state. I know there's a Deer Hunters of Iowa page, and I think if a kid went on there, said, hey, this is the area I live in, I would love to get out and try deer hunting, it'd just be a matter of minutes before people are offering to help them out. And I think there's a lot of people that are willing to help, but not so much put themselves out there, which is fine. For me personally, I've got a bunch of kids anyway, so it's no big deal for me to take a kid out. But some of these, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but they may not want to offer it up just openly. But I think if you go in there saying, hey, I'm just getting a hunter and I'm interested in getting into hunting, would there be anybody to show me the way? There would not be a shortage of people offering to help. So, you might have to just put yourself out there too.
Yeah, definitely. He mentioned reaching out to us. Send us a message on any of our social media platforms or any of us personally. And I mean, we're a small organization, growing but small. However, between the three of us, we have several contacts, and we can put you in contact with those bigger organizations, those people with more connections in more places, especially through the veterans, the Veterans Creed Outdoor stuff that Ben's part of. If you have affiliation to, veteran or anything like that, first responders as well. There's just all kinds of stuff out there that, honestly, guys, it's not public because there's places out there that don't want this stuff public, and we're fighting against something a lot bigger than we are, power wise, and just, I mean, to be blunt, I mean, there's social media stuff that you have to be careful what you post and how you post it because it's coming down, and you can't advertise that you're willing to take some kid hunting someplace because it's just not going to happen, right? So, but that doesn't mean the stuff doesn't exist. It just means it has to fight harder to make itself known. Thus, platforms like this, we're trying hard. We might not, there's stuff that we can offer too, but we might not be able to offer everything. So then we can definitely put you in touch with somebody we think that can see you through. You just have to let us know. Let somebody be able to, we can't reach out and help you if you don't say you need help or want help. just take that step of asking for help, and then let's see what we can do for you. Let's see. So, and it can be anything. I'm just looking back here. I see Alex just left a comment here that I met him through social media recently. He's living here in Nebraska, and he's a grown man like me learning to bow hunt. So I could, and he's on public lands in Nebraska. So I could definitely go ahead.
I'd like to step in on that one. For the adults that are looking into getting into it, don't be shy about asking for help. There's going to be the jerks out there that are going to belittle you. You got to, water off a duck's back. You got to ignore it, because there's a large amount of people that are relatively silent that got your back. There's a lot more of us out there that are like us. They're going to encourage you. They're going to give you, their little bit of wisdom, maybe offer some personal help. Those people are out there. So, but you can't be afraid to put yourself out there as well. And don't be afraid to ask those silly questions, and don't be afraid to make mistakes, because you're going to make them. I kind of want to touch on Carter's hunt from Thursday. Put an adult in his situation, their first time trying that,
They'd be embarrassed.
Very easily. It very easily could turn them away from the sport.
Yep.
And you
Pride.
can't let that happen. And there was a part in it. I'm going to tell you this much: it was a young spike buck, and when we first spotted it, I thought it was a doe. I mean, it just had little tiny spikes. And Carter realized it was a spike, and he turns around and he said something that just made me cringe. He goes, "Oh, it's just a spike. Should I still go after it?" So I was taken aback. I didn't expect him to say that. But on our property where we live, we try to manage it for bigger deer. And I've always told the boys, if it gets you excited, if it's something you want to shoot, do it. Don't let the management aspect keep you from having that chance. And we were on public ground, spot and stock. I told him, I was like, "Hey, it's your tag. If you want to go after that deer, do it. I can tell you this, it's going to be fun." And he had a freaking blast. But an adult in that situation that went through his experience, if he was to put that on social media, he would just be annihilated and beaten down for what Carter did. And it wasn't a bad thing at all. It was freaking awesome. Matt seen the video. It was just so exciting. And it was so much fun. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid. I can't wait till the video comes out. Everybody can see it. But don't be afraid to make that move and to do that hunt, because it is a freaking blast. It is so much fun. So don't worry about the negative comments. And that's another aspect of what we're trying to do, is to educate those jerks that are going to belittle those people, because we got really in depth in this on our first one, and it just chaps my backside. The comments these people get, it's just, not everybody has those opportunities and the chances to shoot a huge buck. And who are you to tell them how to enjoy the outdoors? So don't be afraid to have fun and enjoy it, and put yourself out there and just have fun, man. That's all there is to it, really. Just enjoy it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. But you just got to reach out. Definitely, like the Alex story. He reached out to me, and I don't think he realized how big a geek and nerd I am on like reading maps and OCD and over terrain features and topography. And that's how that's how I had to learn to hunt in these last few years on the public land, was e-scouting more than anything, just due to time constraints. Basically, my Monday through Friday is shot. There's absolutely nothing to be gained Monday through Friday in the field. And so it boils down to Saturday and Sunday. And do you want to be gone all weekend, every weekend during the off season, and then not be around during hunting as well? Like, I want to be home at some point as well as they want me to be home at some point. So it boils down to, okay, I'm going to learn to scout reading maps, and I'm going to buy textbooks, and I'm going to watch every YouTuber. I'm going to watch how Randy Newberg breaks down maps. I'm going to watch how Garrett Prawl breaks down maps. I'm going to watch how these guys do it, and I'm going to learn. And then, so when somebody like Alex comes along and he asks a question, like, I can't wait to just read a map, let alone have the opportunity to maybe help somebody. And so he is a pretty cool story the first night. I don't know if he's still watching or will watch it later, but we looked at one public property and broke it all down, and I bet I borderline annoyed him texting him so much versus, instead of vice versa. But I mean, there's just so many questions you want to ask, and I've never seen the property, and I can only see topography and a satellite from not this time of year, and just have all these questions you want to work through to get through it and give him the best shot possible. And he goes to the property, I guess, and there's a vehicle there, so he just hop skips to some random place and sends me a picture of his pin and where he is on the map. And then he's basically, where would you sit? He's going to sit on the ground. And just, I love it. I look at the map, just, I don't even know how to explain it. You just do it for so long. It's almost like you can see where the deer would probably bed. Obviously, that's more obvious, but the less obvious would be you can almost see where they would trail just by the way the trees look or the topography if you have the topo map on the hybrid. And you can just almost visualize and boil it down to 2 or 3 maybe likely tunnels, trails. Use your wind, pick your spot where you're going to maybe be able to cover 2 of those 3, if not all 3. And so I drop him a pin, drew him a line. This is where I think the deer are going to walk, these 2 blue lines. This is where I think you should walk to get from where you are to where you should be. Got there, and there's a tree stand there, which to me is always a vote of confidence, like a pat on the back that you're probably accurate because somebody else had the same thought that you did. And bonus for him, it's public land and there's an open tree stand, so now he's not sitting on the ground. And it was just cool because from what I understand, he didn't see a buck that night. He saw a bunch of does walk by, but he knew he had a chance. I mean, he could have killed a doe if he wanted to. I told him in my book, seeing a deer on public land is a success. If you see a deer almost every time you go sit down, it's a success. Like, you are doing something right to be in that position. So, for him, there's an adult hunter, and he's not pissing and moaning and upset because he didn't get to go kill a buck, even though he put in all that work and everything. He was able to go and sit, and he was able to see that that's a win, man. You saw deer, and he's been out a couple different times, I think, since then, and seen deer almost every spot he's sat out there, which you're talking small public pieces, probably I would ballpark 40, 60 acres on these little public pieces along I-80 and Grand Island area that
that's a tough area to hunt too.
Yeah, it might hold 3 deer. So if you saw 2 of them, but stuff like that's cool. And I think the reason we're telling the story is just to encourage people to know that there's good people out there, not to just pat ourselves on the back that we think we're good people, but there's other good people other than us out there. Even the quote unquote big timers, try Facebook messaging Garrett Prawl sometime, and I guarantee he responds to you in a sincere way. And for people that don't know, Garrett Prawl is the DIY sportsman on YouTube and phenomenal hunter and educator through his platform. And just cool to see there's a lot of people out there that stick true to their roots and willing to help, even as big as like Troy with the Ranch Fairy. If you reach out to him, he's going to email you back the same day probably with information. And there's plenty of little guys like us out there too that are willing to help, willing to learn along beside you, willing to be corrected. That's part of why Middle American Outdoors started, was for me to film and be corrected. Like, I was looking to be corrected, and I'm still looking to be corrected. Either by directly asking a question like to Ben and getting information from somebody like Ben or Jake who's been hunting a lot longer, or stepdad Terry, or going and looking for stuff on YouTube or something to contradict my line of thinking, or validate it, I guess. But it's fun.
And I'm here to tell you, I've been hunting, let's just call it 30 years. And even today, we went out there and we got busted by deer. So I don't care how good of a hunter you are, you're going to mess up. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have those days where you're like, God, do I even know what the heck I'm doing? You know, it never fails. I mean, these are living, very intelligent living creatures that we're after. And like you said, just to see one, to have that opportunity is a huge win. You know, these things are hunted by coyotes. They're hunted, some areas, mountain lions, you know, everything's trying to kill these things. So they're constantly aware, and, take those quote unquote failures as a learning experience to, jot it down, make a mental note, hey, I see where I messed up. Let's just not do that next time. So don't be discouraged when things don't go as planned, because a loss is still a win, because you're going to learn something from it every time you go out.
The most cliche line, but is so true, and people just need to hear it instead of shrugging it off as cliche. Is that's why they call it hunting and not killing. We're not just killers, hunters. Like, there's so much more. I mean, pulling the trigger and killing the animal is 1% of what you're doing before that moment. And if you think that that's 90% of it, you're probably not going to be successful. Two, you're missing out on what's so addicting about it and what's so awesome about it.
Last Thursday for Carter was a prime example of that. Prime example.
Yeah. But bye, Carly.
So see you later.
That's a nice light you got there.
He has a huge sticker behind him, doesn't he? You gonna say hi? She's being shy still. we got her on video today though, so
that's good. That'll be fun to show. So obviously, I'm waiting to hear from Jake. I thought maybe we get a live update. I don't know. He'd probably text right away if he got a shot at one. I know he killed a coyote, but he kills a coyote almost every time he goes out. So
yeah, there's no shortage of them out there in his neck of the woods.
No, doing his part. I think I sent you that Rut Daniels thing today. I love Rut Daniels, but I just happen to be wearing Catching Deers as well. But they have a coyote one that's pretty funny.
I'll send it to Jake.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. But so, I mean, I think we kind of rambled about it, but I hope we covered what our goal was here as far as talking about what keeping traditions alive means to us, why we say that, why it's important, not just what it means to us, but why it's important for you to also understand why it's important. I think before we talked about with the second episode where we talked about measuring inches, not measuring experiences, not inches, and we were talking about what's killing the sport. One of the points was the reason it's important for the sport and people keep coming into the sport is so the sport can survive, not just by passing the traditions along, but legally. If you have a generation that comes along and they're not into the outdoors and they don't value the outdoors, one, there's going to be horrible game management. You're going to see just people don't understand the amount of money that hunters put into conservation and land management and studies and filling out surveys and all that information to help game and parks manage herds, manage wildlife. But two, just legally, if you don't have anybody in your legislative branches that cares about outdoors, it'll be gone, right? There'll be nobody to oppose those forces which don't allow this stuff on social media, etc. Right now there's ways around it, but that's because there's people that still stand in the way. However, you don't keep the traditions alive and you lose those people that stand in the way. This won't exist. There won't be an iTunes podcast about why we love hunting. It'll be gone.
And it really can't happen that easy.
One generation away. We're always going to be one generation away. And it's so simple. It doesn't, it's not about, you don't have to have people get out and kill animals to get them into the sport and to keep them in the sport. They got to go out and have a good time. And they're going to have a good time if they see you having a good time. If you're going out and your actions are just showing that the only thing that makes the hunt worth anything is killing a big buck, then that's what they're going to learn. And it's really hard to overcome that later on. But before we go back into another big ramble, I think we'll pretty much wrap it up. You got any parting words, Ben?
Nope, just encourage everybody else to, do your part. That's, if we don't do it, nobody else will.
And your part might be as easy as showing how much you love it and enjoy it. Just somebody might passively see you just showing how much you enjoy it, and it might flip the switch for them without you even knowing. So just be aware of that stuff and how you're acting. I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up. I think watch for later in the week. We'll have this up on our podcast. As I said, I know it's easier for people to listen to a couple guys talk for an hour on a podcast when they're driving or doing whatever else, mowing the yard, doing something, whatever, sitting in a tree stand. But we do this live, and we'll continue to do it live like this because we like to be able to get the comments and interact with people in the Middle American Outdoors community, and that just can't happen on a podcast. So thanks, guys. Thanks, Ben. And
I want to put in a note there. If you run across somebody you think is deserving of the tip of the cap, shoot us an email or a message on Facebook or something. Let us know.
For sure. Yep. We look forward to trying to post those once a week. Keep that going on the Middle American Outdoors Facebook business page. If you guys aren't on there, jump on there and follow so you can see them. But yeah, until then, thanks for the help, guys, and keep the traditions alive. We'll see you next time.
See you later.